Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we get to it, please subscribe if you haven't yet to keep my channel alive and growing. And click that notification bell so you never miss my weekly uploads. I have a really good one for you this week that asks the question, do we really put on a facade out of fear of rejection? It is Gone Girl, and I have to tell you, this one is wild. I haven't been this blown away by a story in its entirety since Hannibal. So, let's do this. What the book and the movie have in common are the sequence of events, most of the characters, and as my own personal footnote, I see inspiration for this story from not one, but two true crime trial of the century stories. The frame job done on Nick has all the trappings of the Scott Peterson case, and Amy's hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, scorched earth breed of vengeance is reminiscent of Betty Broderick. Alright, back to the book and movie. Same sequence of events, Amy's disappearance, the history on Nick and Amy's courtship and marriage, the Amazing Amy book series written by Amy's parents, featuring the daughter they want instead of the one they have. The loss of their writing jobs, blamed on the recession in the movie, blamed on the death of print media in favor of online in the book. Amy's parents going takesy-backsies on most of her trust fund, and Nick decimating the rest of it by, to buy his bar. Their marriage starting to tank after they relocate from New York City to Missouri. The investigation, the scrutiny of the media and the community, the revelation of Andy, rejection by the community and Amy's parents leading up to his arrest, and then cutting right in the middle as to how all this was Amy's doing as a slow burn revenge because she saw him with Andy. And all the details of her frame job are mirrored from book to movie, as is her karmic spanking when Jeff and Greta rob her blind, and then she turns to Desi as a backup plan that works to perfection to get her back home. What is only in the movie is at the near end when their, mock Nancy Grace, named Ellen Abbott, makes a house call to interview Nick and Amy after her miraculous return. What is only in the book? A lot more first-person inner monologues. The first half being only in journal entry past tense from Amy, detailing the honeymoon phase of her relationship with Nick and the very first year of their marriage. And after that first year, she starts describing Nick as this shitty man-child who would spend their second anniversary taking his laid-off work buddies out for a pity party at several bars and strip joints, then being a whiny couch potato after his own layoff, then fobbing his cancer-stricken mother off onto Amy after their move to Missouri, followed by frequent arguments and a few shoves, then fearing for her life. Nick's inner monologues during the first half of the book are just his everyday activities with his sister and their bar, a little history about his parents, particularly his asshole father who belittles his wife and kids during the formative years, and is now just a misogynistic old bat with dementia who wanders out of his nursing home. He also expresses his frustration with the police and the community smothering him after Amy disappears, and he sees that lady who offered the chicken Frito pie, which sounds like a homemade gas attack, just my humble opinion, as an annoying groupie. And then he also sees Boney and Gilpin as lousy cops. He explains why he takes up with Andy, and then he finally puts two and two together and realizes he's being set up. There's also one of Amy's revenge victims omitted from the movie. The movie covers poor Tommy O'Hara and how his life is over, which is actually fattened up from the book, since in the book, Amy dropped the rape charges after the damage was done. However, Amy is an equal opportunity sociopath. In the book alone is Hillary Handy, Amy's one female victim, and what she did to incur her wrath was to get better grades and earn the affections of a mutual crush. The price she paid was a frame job in which Amy threw herself down a flight of stairs and blamed Hillary and called her a stalker. Also only in the book is Desi's mother. Desi is the spoiled rich mama's boy who pays the ultimate price for caring about Amy in a genuinely sinister way. And before he traps Amy in his vacation home, he lives with Mommy, who is described by both Nick and Amy as this cougary type who secretly grosses them both out. Amy's history in the movie is just limited to being a shortcoming of the version of herself in her parents' Amazing Amy book series. In the story, Amy explains how she is her parents' eighth born after a succession of late-term miscarriages and stillbirths. And several times a year, her mother would wring her hands on the anniversaries of those lost children rather than pay attention to Amy. Her derisive cool girl soliloquy is watered down in a way that gets right down to some of the point. I have it right here. Behold. That night at the Brooklyn party, I was playing the girl who was in style. The girl a man like Nick wants. The cool girl. Men always say that as the defining compliment, don't they? She's a cool girl. Being the cool girl means I am a hot, brilliant, funny woman who adores football, poker, dirty jokes, and burping, who plays video games, drinks cheap beer, loves threesomes and anal sex, and jams hot dogs and hamburgers into her mouth like she's hosting the world's biggest culinary gangbang while somehow maintaining a size 2. Because cool girls are above all hot. Hot and understanding. Cool girls never get angry. They only smile in a chagrined, loving manner and let their men do whatever they want. Go ahead, shit on me. I don't mind. I'm the cool girl. Men actually think this girl exists. Maybe they're fooled because so many women are willing to pretend to be this girl. For a long time, cool girl offended me. I used to see men, friends, co-workers, strangers, giddy over these awful pretender women. And I'd want to sit these men down and calmly say, you are not dating a woman. You are dating a woman who has watched way too many movies written by socially awkward men who like to believe that this kind of woman exists and might kiss them. I want to grab the poor guy by his lapels or messenger bag and say, that bitch doesn't really love chili dogs that much. No one loves chili dogs that much. And the cool girls are even more pathetic. They're not even pretending to be the woman they want to be. They're pretending to be the woman a man wants them to be. Oh, and if you are not a cool girl, I beg you not to believe that your man doesn't want the cool girl. It may be a slightly different version. Maybe he's a vegetarian. So cool girl loves S-E-I-T-A-N. I want to say that's pronounced Satan. And is great with dogs. Or maybe he's a hipster artist. So cool girl is a tattooed, bespectacled nerd who loves comics. There are variations to the window dressing. But believe me, he wants cool girl, who is basically the girl who likes every fucking thing he likes and doesn't ever complain. How do you know you're like not a cool girl? Because he says things like, I like strong women. If he says that to you, he will at some point fuck someone else. Because I like strong women is code for I hate strong women. I waited patiently, years, for the pendulum to swing the other way. For men to start reading Jane Austen, learn how to knit, pretend to love cosmos, organize scrapbook parties, and make out with each other while we leer. And then we'd say, yeah, he's a cool guy. But it never happened. Instead, women across the nation colluded in our degradation. Pretty soon, Coral Girl became the standard girl. Men believed she existed. She wasn't just a dream girl, one in a million. Every girl was supposed to be this girl, and if you weren't, then there was something wrong with you. But it's tempting to be cool girl. For someone like me who likes to win, it's tempting to want to be the girl every guy wants. So when I met Nick, I knew immediately that was what he wanted. And for him, I guess I was willing to try. I will accept my portion of blame. The thing is, I was crazy about him at first. I found him perversely exotic, a good old Missouri boy. He was so damn nice to be around. He teased things out in me that I didn't know existed. A lightness, a humor, and ease. It was as if he hollowed me out and filled me with feathers. He helped me be cool girl. I couldn't have been cool girl with anyone else. I wouldn't have wanted to. I can't say I didn't enjoy some of it. I ate a moon pie. I walked barefoot. I stopped worrying. I watched dumb movies and ate chemically laced foods. I didn't think past the first step of anything. That was the key. I drank a Coke and didn't worry about how to recycle the can or about how the acid puddling in my belly. Acid so powerful it could strip clean a penny. We went to a dumb movie and I didn't worry about the offensive sexism or the lack of minorities in meaningful roles. I didn't even worry whether the movie made sense. I didn't worry about anything that came next. Nothing had consequence. I was living in the moment. And I could feel myself getting shallower and dumber, but also happy. Until Nick, I never really felt like a person because I was always a product. Amazing Amy has to be brilliant, creative, kind, thoughtful, witty, and happy. We just want you to be happy, Rand and Mary Beth said all the time, but they never explained how. So many lessons, opportunities, and advantages, and they never taught me how to be happy. I remember always being baffled by other children. I'd be at a birthday party and watch the other kids giggling and making faces, and I would try to do that too, but I would understand why. Well, I wouldn't understand why. I would sit there with the tight elastic thread of the birthday party hat and the pudge of my underchin with the grainy frosting of the cake bluing my teeth. I would try to figure out why it was fun. With Nick, I understood finally, because he was so much fun. It was like dating a sea otter. He was the first equally happy person I met who was my equal. He was brilliant and gorgeous and funny and charming and charmed. People liked him. Women loved him. I thought he would be the most perfect union, the happiest couple around. Not that love is a competition. I don't understand the point of being together if you're not the happiest. I was probably happier for those few years, pretending to be someone else than I have ever been before or after. I can't decide what that means. But then it had to stop, because it wasn't real. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, Nick. I thought you knew. I thought it was a bit of a game. I thought we had a wink, wink, don't ask, don't tell thing going. I tried so hard to be easy, but it was unsustainable. It turned out that he couldn't sustain his side either. The witty banter, the clever games, the romance, all the wooing. It all started collapsing on itself. I hated Nick for being surprised when I became me. I hated him for not knowing it had to end, for truly believing he had married this creature, this figment of the imagination of a million masturbatory men, semen fingered, self-satisfied. He truly seemed astonished when I asked him to listen to me. He couldn't believe how I didn't love wax stripping my meow raw and blowing him on request. That I did mind when he didn't show up for drinks with my friends. That ludicrous diary entry, I don't need pathetic dancing monkey scenarios to repeat to my friends. I'm content with letting him be himself. That was pure, dumb, cool bullshit. What? See you next Tuesday. Again, I don't get it. If you let a man cancel plans or decide to do things for you, you lose. You don't get what you want. It's pretty clear. Sure, he may be happy. He may say you're the coolest girl ever, but he's saying it because he got his way. He is calling you a cool girl to fool you. That's what men do. They try to make it sound like you are a cool girl so you will bow to their wishes. Like a car salesman saying, how much do you want to pay for this beauty? When you didn't agree to buy it yet. That awful phrase men use, I mean, I knew you wouldn't mind if I... Yes, I do mind. Just say it. Don't lose, you dumb little T. So it had to stop. Committing to Nick, feeling safe with Nick, being happy with Nick, made me realize that there was a real Amy in there. And she was so much better, more interesting and complicated and challenging than cool Amy. Nick wanted cool Amy anyway. Can you imagine finally showing your true self to your spouse, your soulmate, and having him not like you? So that's how the hating first began. I thought about this a lot, and that's where it started, I think. And finally, her plan to cap off her revenge with Nick with suicide is also a final parting shot to her parents. And it's not at all because of depression or hopelessness. It's more like she sees life as just a crappy job that she doesn't want to drudge away at anymore. The ending is also drawn out more in the book. Amy puts that fertility clinic sample to use just in time, and the story ends on the day before her due date. She describes Nick's kindness to her and explains to her that the reason for his kindness is pity. He tells her she's the one who has to wake up every morning and be who she is. And that is it for Gone Girl. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed this book and this movie. Please leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you back next week for the last of the Mohicans.